Esteves. The whistle's gone the way of Napoli rather generously, in my opinion. And would have been much better served. Seeding Pobitano. Really got a shout and dedicator. Chiede di raucous round buongiorno all'improvviso. It's up to the very winnable home games. So Napoli, not just tonight, but then on Saturday here against another side from Emilia, in shape of Sassuolo. Hopkins takes the free kick. Nice driven ball for Lang. Lang's won it again. Crociati straight up in the air. And Cato should bring it clear. Oliveira picks his packet. Yep, but he pokes in Parma in the early stages here to Clemi. Gained a lot from that ItalianFootball in terms of self-belief. Just a timely reminder that they are champions for a reason. So terrific spirit against the Nerazzurri. Could have easily actually been 2-1 up by the time Inter did. Right over there in the second half. There was Napoleon's 1v1 before the post. There was Dinite, so missing a free netter. The other side of the Sassuolo game, two pivotal away matches. Di Lorenzo's cross. Cato's not got distance. From Jordan ahead of Cutrone. Matthias Oliveira. Which he just left one in on him, man. It's mischievous, and that's why Michael Fabry will say to a young Swiss defender, one is your warning after that, and yellow card will be coming out. Just letting him know he was there. First two against incidentally in the Danish capital of Copenhagen as matchday 7 in the Champions League, when Napoli facing an uphill battle to finish in the top 24 tuners. They make it through to the playoff round, and then after that, Serie, Juventus away. Spalletti against Conte. Conte will be back in the dugout for that game. Spalletti going well with the Bianconeri. Now on the same points as Napoli, albeit I didn't play the game now, also with a win in that 6-pointer. They could cancel out any advantage Napoli might accrue this evening by winning this game in hand. Buongiorno. Cutrone takes it back up. It arrives belatedly. Udo Donez. Funded by Troino. Fesvik Soyded looked really sharp against Inter. He gave Akanji a difficult night. They have been performing serenely for them. That's really a real hit for their third base. But they struggled with the pace physicality of Bianca. Hibaka. But he still had this remarkable home record. The Potkaro, but it's up. Sokin behind. Jimmy Tomini bounces it home. A very scrappy call, but yet another one for him. And that is now 3 goals in the space of a week. Not champagne's the pull. And all you see on the eye, that mighty affected. And a precious early lead for the champions. And Spot just can't stop scoring. Great vision from the Bobcat. Matsopki did very well. There's almost an own goal from Juve. He that headed it to Matome. That's 3 or 4 bites of it before eventually forcing it over the line. As the field, but it was Juve heading it too, but Tomine, he made the save. Troilo does something on the ball, and eventually, just then, Tomine Did what was required. Looks for Timber. Just checking the McTominay didn't commit a foul inside the 6-yard box. There was a lot of scrapping and kicking going on there. It was all slightly untidy passage of play, not that it matters. Don't think anyone was fouled. The Blues, you can hear, because Napoli appeared on their own end. There's some VAR decisions in their last 2 matches. Verona were awarded a penalty after handball apart from Jordan. Binter were awarded a penalty after a foul by Raclani, a step on foot on Ligue Italian. In between, Hoyland had a goal disallowed for handballs. Thus, 3 decisions against Napoli by the VAR. Question is, Mazzocchi offside? That would be a fairly obvious place to start. So look at the ADP, the attacking possession phase, to see whether everything was above board. But if Mazzocchi's offside, then his goal will be Melvin void. Remain the desire of McTominay 1 out. This is what we call a sign and check. If he's offside, they'll say as much to Michael Papini and he'll relay the message via the loudspeaker. So confirmation, Mazzocchi was offside. The call is disallowed. We'll restart with a free kick for Parma, and it remains 0-0. McTominay will have to do it all again. So too with Napoli. It won't make the home fan base particularly happy, but in the next few minutes we'll get some objective data. Freeze frame shot of semi-automatic left side technology, proving that Mazzocchi was indeed beyond an arse defender. Lobotka needs some help. So you think. Steady finds Lorenzo. Assisted the challenge of Cutrone. It's a great innovation to hear the referee's 6 made decisions over the loudspeaker. It's good in the interest of transparency. That's what done with this movement. Tons of the NGB hours are geared towards. Seen it with the joystick broadcaster deserted in their format. Open foul, which is a play on open bar. Occasionally there are malfunctions to the system, just in terms of the sound equipment. Tend to notice when referees turn sharply 90 degrees, what they say can be lost amid the din. It's also content that needs to be translated or localized to measure an Italian speaker. Well, by the way, Bo has a very international series of hand gestures. So the arm went up, and Michael's happy to denote an indirect free kick, and so we were restarting play as opposed to from the centre circle with Napoli's opening goal. Contrones after this. Milinkovic Savage quickly off his line. Now Lobotka. He's so impressive again at Inter. Wojciech. Point and unable to himself. That's Troilo. Controlling. Pinel's fouled. So I'm sure Contents Danini will be delighted with the contribution of Mazzocchi in that passage of play which led to it. With Tomei putting the ball in the net. It's another lovely enterprising line behind him as well, found by Lobotka. They'll retain the positives in that, even though the goal doesn't stand. Well, indeed. Not by Rinaldi. Behind the floor in Wojciech's game, he does tend to put his hands on the shoulders of opponents when he wins headers. This is penalised there, but Parma the platform, Esteves. Crociati, now Brichti. Vittoria making a run. Tater under pressure. And Farbon and Tomine. Presentage Parma of Doric. Shiftratu. Brichti. Vittoria wanted to feed that he found space in the shell, but he was ignored. One else spotted perhaps. Brichti had his Solidaire nearly won back possession. This is the first spell in which Parma had the ball for any meaningful length of time. Sorensen kicks it in play. Couldn't get the return from Donetsk. Palizamo trying to make it run to Di Lorenzo. Inzendo, as they're calling him. Zale always makes me think of that wonderful sculpture that there is in Naples, in Cristo Velato. So you know, if you've not seen it, go and see it. Down in city centre. Can't remember the name of the chapel offhand, but the Cristo Velato, the veiled Christ. Lob, and with the Pauline, overhit for McTominay. Now he has some clarity as to how far Paco Mazzocchi strayed. The wrong side of the last defender. It's very tight indeed. To shoulder, which is part of the anatomy that you could score. That's why he's been penalised. Had his arm, stretched and beyond the last defender, he would have been okay. Puts the chapel San Severo incidentally for Oziing. Interested in the Cristo Velato. This is a big game for Napoli because Inter home to Lecce. They try that they expected to be the Salentini. I'm missing a couple of players. Serie suspension. Mazzocchi did work from here. Mazzocchi did it as Lang can't get there. Olivena. Napoli maintaining plenty of pressure on Parma. Nearly 20 minutes. Nothing. Away from Ciucati. Darkmani getting involved. Noah Landlord Smalls. He lost the ball tonight with Noel Nas. Oliveira. Bonjoba can deliver. Poyden made the run. Sutter Di Lorenzo. It's plain he was fouled. Entree just give it away. Napoli come again. Stadini telling Bonjoba to feed line. There is the judgment. Noah Lang. The post control. Lopotka. That's up to truly up for it tonight. It's got a good start. Politano. Di Lorenzo. Now the Bobcat. Lag around the corner. Referee's got it in the layup. Then it's a pass from Lasmus Oynard. Supporters should be quite harsh there. And I'm getting bunched, especially when a match official gets in the way of a lovely 1-2. He did have a hold of the shirt of Di Lorenzo. I think it's probably a bit too much to think that would ever be given as a penalty. Fire on field review. But he took a chance, the Argentine defender. Napoli restart with a drop ball in the same area of the pitch, albeit without any of the momentum they would have had for plan combining with Poyden. Referees do need to be at the heart of the action to see as much as possible, but they need to strike the balance between being at a good vantage point to see and not getting in the way. Lands cross. The weight by Estedes. Well watched by Rakhani. Buongiorno. See? Does appear to be them have the hardest task in terms of these round 16 rearranged game with Napoli and Inter home to Parma and Lecce respectively. Bologna go to Verona, but that's a fairly midpoint when it comes to the title race. Milan awaits tomorrow night at the City down here against the Parma side, knocking on the door of the European places and the Champions League places in particular. Blimey. Away from Bridgki, there's the cutback. And dedicated out, doesn't want to lose the ball there. The Hopkins stepped across him, obstruction. Direct call. Short Gress will be disappointed if Conte's not in the opposition dugout this season. And so Conte is the benchmark for me. It's on the Scudetto titles and the Premier League. Which I was lucky enough to be his opponent and see how quickly he settled in at Tottenham. Something we forget just how the success he was with Spurs in terms of qualifying for the Champions League. The Premier League in his first season with Chelsea, well decided Euro 2016. On SerieA, his first season with Napoli. To continue, well, let's win the domestic title with Inter. With Tomine. Mazzocchi, time and space. Hoyland calling free. This is Lang. I wonder whether he could have tried to hit that first time. Went to control the ball. Who doesn't put a special finish, but maybe there was stuff for Skizikiku. Or died the header. Haven't seen too many hits from the artist also known as Noano, which is his stage name. Just up one goal and the win over Atalanta. Also talk of him leaving this month. It doesn't look like there are going to be too many, if any, comings and goings in the winter window for Napoli. Possible moves for Amposino to the Nizza in the second tier. And Palianucci was linked with Cremonese, who's now being talked about in terms of Torino, who has been shelved for the moment. For Tomine, that's immediate native is Politano now. Keeps it moving for Olivera. Olivera slips. Vote of disappointment. That's around, floating it out. Lydia Gilbob onside. Juan is suspended. Gilbob recovering from that surgery, and Romelu Lukaku has yet to play a minute this season. Mazzocchi. Buongiorno. No one in the box. But it doesn't have too much support. Napoli need more blue shirts in the penalty area. They have a couple now. Di Lorenzo keeps hiking late runs into the penalty area. But Tomine could do that less in this current shape, playing as one of the two central midfielders alongside the Vodka. Politano's cross. Really reached Hoyland. Hoyland puts you behind. Better than Napoli. And it definitely spawned in for Matteo Politano. His delivery from wide areas has been a lot better recently. Took out the 2 assists he got in Rome against Lazio. Was his ball in that found Hoyland sort of goal that wasn't against Verona. Land takes the corner short. Whipped it by Mercuria. Ponchotto's header repelled. Rinaldi's there to gather in as Tomine was under it. Good save from the young goalkeeper. Ponchotto met this very convincingly. And Einaudi did well not only to make the third save, but then to keep his wits about him to gather the loose ball. Entree can be inside. Almost had a couple of hairy moments. Once when the ball was in the net from Tobane, which is ruled out for a match offside against Mazzocchi's shoulder. It's just islands to go with Bongiorno's header being beaten away by Einaudi. Sørensen. Estedes. Shivkantu. District all here, Einaudi was instinctive. Might have just hit him on the head and pushed the ball away. But Cordoby, who's been playing recently, led for Suzuki, injured. Was brought in Parma, trying to top it under 10 level with Puccini sides. Casintini comes from Fidenza in the Parma since the under 12s, and Rinaldi's been to the club coming up a decade now. He comes from Montecchio Emilia, which is actually closer to Reggio Emilia than but is Parma, but still in the Emilia-Romagna region. Nine with a switch of play. So I want to go in a half time with the scoreline goal against Napoli. It was last season when they struggled to break teams down in the second half of the season. Well, not technically in that, even though this is their 20th match. This is line, as this is a rearranged end on the first half of the campaign. Line has been pulled back for that challenge from Sasha Buchki. Bit soft, if you ask me. Parma side a little bit experimental. Panel Spritzer did say that he would hit the players who he feels are most ready, both in terms of freshness and tactical demands. To me, it feels more like freshness has prevailed over the tactical side of the game. We're not missing some players. Likes of Lerdick and Almquist not involved. And DI out too. Maybe Questress also targeting the hope game against Genoa. And Sunday, due to the side that really wanted me to have. There were Hans the winners against Candy on Monday. And did fall under Daniele De Rossi. Given away to Laklani. Found to see Politano. I do wonder when Lobotka and the Tomanet are going to be able to get a break. It's going to trust other persons central midfield. The Swiss Army knife, as he's becoming known. The Macedonian Eddie Velmas operating in there. They've got an option too. That's what Tomanet finally avoided. Zombomisa likely back in time for the trip to Juventus. That would be a massive boost, but looks like it's going to be the Bopka and McTominay to the turn B. That's all on Copenhagen gains. Half an hour gone at the Maradona. See, this is Napoli need to stop needing the ball a bit quicker. I said they're going to actually talk about Inter Napoli today. The minute I perch when Prede in the such a cover. So I was very impressed by the intensity at Tedperth. Inter Napoli said it all comes down to how quickly teams move the ball. He said you only run hard and fast when the ball is travelling that speed. So far, ball has been travelling too turgidly for Napoli. That's better. Mazzocchi. Di Lorenzo could run from Oliveira. Di Lorenzo had spotted him too. They do make some lovely diagonal runs, the Napoli players. Some Interesting third man combinations on that far side. Sequeling involving Giovanni Di Lorenzo. A catena di destra, as they call it in Italy. It's typically been Di Lorenzo, Honky San Politano. Here's the latch on the ball. Politano curling it in. Instead is with the header. Sørensen for Cutrone. The popcorn Zupa. Matteo Politano. Now Mazzocchi. Surrounded by two Parma players. The scale to Mazzocchi. Ordonez getting lost into the Tomine. Antenna Cater as Parma counter. Job not quick enough. On Draker. Bricci. Itali on the far side. This is on Draker. Joey's the goal. Straight to the keeper. He's alive via Jacob Draker. Napoli arguably have imitative attitudes from last season. Still got those banners in the city centre via Toledo of the likes of Solini and Petrel. Solini scored a winning goal against Inter for Bologna. Petra scoring a couple of goals against Nazioni, but Draker must have got a goal along with Partenopei. Doing sorts off for Parma against Inter down the stretch. Linus found Oliveira. Who's ball in. Hoyland bringing it to... Rinaldi with another save. Here's line meantime. Oliveira in support. Lions cross. That's Zocchi's header. And Tomine beating the air by Filippo Rinaldi. Is really justifying his place in the side tonight. Second excellent save from him. Tells sharply to try to keep out Napoli's top scorer. Texper, some Hoyden. They've had enough chances, Napoli, to find themselves in front. Stoppy from Bricci. Oliveira, this tunnels Bresta, like so many of his Spanish peers. Very positive in his technical area, very encouraging. Politano trying to get sides. Still Politano. Now the Bobcat. Di Lorenzo for goal. Takes a round of applause from Mazzocchi for the idea. His teammates in the box, I think, Livones blazed. Rinaldi is now tonight on job on. Kept up Hoyland here. Six and six on Hoyland scores. But they still have lost the league game in which Tomine has found the net. Did lose that Champions League match in Eindhoven. 6-2, a brace of headers and the MVP. Politano around the corner. Manut offside. The flag didn't appear. Thumbs up from the referees. The assistant on the far side did communicate with that it was offside. That's Gamal Mukhtar. Parma hanging tough on Draker. Running a Di Lorenzo is away from him. Still away from the pocket too. Cutrone. Rahmani took a chance. Oliveira needs to be careful. He takes no chances. Nice deploys from Amin Rahmani there. Bricci. Ordonez. Cutrone. Clever ball in. Well done, Di Lorenzo. Sørensen was closing in. Zocchi was tracking in. Pretty having to be on their toes defensively. They had 4 straight 2-0 wins, but since then, 2-all draws against Verona and Inter. Some short Daniel will be desperate for Kishi. It loses some own Cup betrayed. Dev concern about his reactions in Parma. In comes the throw away by McTominay. To Stevers. Valenti. Sørensen. Politano stopped this cost of source. We are shocked upon the Simpson extras. They've got lots of dangerous players to come to the bench. They're very lively. Matteo Pellegrino, who, if you ask me, would be a pretty good player for Napoli to recruit. If the Lorenzo Luca deal doesn't end up working out, as it hasn't done so far, this Sulitz with Fajika for him. Pellegrino will be a pretty good factor to the likes of Foyne and Lukaku. Old-fashioned target man, brilliant in the air, lovely that's third. To essentially have three players with intense same punts already. Tall, powerful, good in the air, left-footed. Given away tolling there. Now this is Moa line, called by Beachdine. That might be a yellow card. He's been warned once. And Michael Fabry decides against showing a caution. And for Sibi, the miskeeper, Chivgati. Bring back to the Parma bench then. Hammering on Matteo Pellegrino, one of their best players. Partenopei in a similar category. That pretty lively. The skipper Del Patos amongst the substitutes. So Napoli will want to make sure that in the lead is not comfortably. Then hits. Perfect time Parma mix things up in the second half. Line with the free kick. Troilo on the header. Politano. Air shot. Of Donetsk. 2 hits ahead of the ball. Politano tracking in. It's been shrugged aside by Donetsk. Outside Politano has the squad since March. Incidentally, FSIDA. Richling. Kitronin has first touch away from danger. Ondrejka keeps it moving. Finally, Sørensen. Breachdee. Keita away from McTominay. Now Valenti getting involved. Valenti, that's going to be a corner for Parma. With his sons like this, the Cuesta would want Partenopei taking a set piece and Pellegrini on the end of it, but these must. It did take a lead against the lot of players this switched to last season. That penalty from Boni. Napoli could easily find themselves ahead. Have a Tomine goal being narrowly ruled out for Natocchi offside. And since then, a couple of saves from the now need to deny Buongiorno third, step point and laterally. Parma might finally be able to test Milinkovic Savic here. Instead is with the corner. It's towards Troilo. That's over by Breachdee, but Milinkovic Savic was fouled by Troilo. Looks like he might have got an elbow to the neck. Indeed. That's all you want from your goalkeeper. Been was impeded. It's not too often we see the whistle going for innocuous challenges in the 6-yard box on the opposition goalkeeper. That this side around there was justification to Michael Fabry to blow his whistle. Alex Meret, incidentally, has been in and out. He had been gracing team sheets recently, not so this evening. David Meredith is technically on the team sheet. I don't think we'll be seeing him. Di Lorenzo down the 9. Or down by Parenti. Stennis. Did a big switch you play. Lovely ball to final Ondrejka. 1v1 with Buongiorno. Ondrejka. Pultrone. Get blocks on Raflani. And calmly done by Tomine. has something they need to be wary of. Napoli wants all those many things, but he's not necessarily known for his ability in 1v1 defensively, especially it's a basic customer like Mondraker. Oliveira, avoided calling for it, so then him. The story didn't large in Frere on that pass, and Matthias Oliveira had a small window in which to dig the ball. Cheetah. Nice poise from the Belgian. Troido. Chipkati. Mondraker. Sørensen calling for him. Still is himself done yet. There will be insurance Milan fans watching. There's Kulsando. He's hoping that Napoli drop points. Essentially cheering against them, and they'll be pretty happy with this scoreline. Could have been very different had that early goal from McTominay stood. Mondraker, seeing loss of the ball. Keita. Brichti. Mondraker. Difficult ball to Brichti to control there. But this might always have been the plan for Carlos Cuesta. Stay in the game and then try and hurt Napoli off the bench, introducing the likes of Pellegrino Bernabé. Di Lorenzo meets out the outside. Mazzocchi. And he did well on the stretch because that was lurking. Sørensen. Valencia away, straight to Lobotka. Hardly done by Esteves, excellently in fact. Well done yet. Good ball, that's on Draker. A little over it otherwise. Well, Jovan was struck there. Vertomine. Bypasses Mazzocchi. Di Lorenzo. And Politano find a winning delivery. Politano. Hoydens. Politano's early cross, easy to Valenti, then needs to show more creativity than that Napoli. They'll beat the first man as we move into the final minute, the first half. Probably a couple of minutes to be added because of that delay in play whilst the goal was disallowed. Rahmani, Politano, Mazzocchi now. Politano, one touch football from the champions, Di Lorenzo, and Hoynem heads your eye. He's off balance. Took up a good position on the penalty spot. But his facial expression and his body language indicative of how Napoli have done in this first half. They have opened up Parma, but they haven't found a net, not legally. Needless to say, more drop points for Napoli tell him will only give Inter the chance to dash clear, which is what Napoli so desperately worked hard to avoid happening on Sunday, but also opens up stroke for the Juventus leapfrog in Napoli, especially with that Spon Probiretto on the rise. Just a nod to Di Lorenzo. They'll struck that off, especially with the half-time interval imminent. We're sure Patrick Cutrone will be tuning in to Parma Milan tomorrow. Born and bred Conasco, former Milan Academy product. But his future lies elsewhere. His freshness taking him to Parma. Doesn't necessarily sit in with Cesc Fabregas' style of play, one young Spanish coach in Serie A, so he's getting an opportunity But another one. That was great stuff. Tomine was pulled back, but Tranker thought he was through on goal. Confirmation there are 2 added minutes through plates. 90 seconds of 1 already. Perhaps tired enough for Napoli to score. An opening goal near. Just hide for one last delivery. Gilbocchia. For Tomine. Here's Politano. They were in the box at the moment. Politano delivers. But into your way. And instead there's straight to the Bocchia. Awkward to Politano. Who's away from Serie. This is Tomine. Lang keeps her in play. Politano. Hoyland's gone down. It's challenged from Troidor. And Napoli now probably will have half-time whistle as Montana Keita tries to launch a counter. No handball against Doridena. Noah Lang. Pokes after his own ball forwards. Bringing out these on the scene, but another chance for Napoli. Tomine was trying to find Hoyland, I think. Lang teed up Politano. Just too heavy to pass for Politano. And that's why he didn't commit as juniors you would have liked. So, the Tomine thought he'd scored early on, only for Mazzocchi to be adjudged offside. Rinaldi twice able to deny Hoyland that today after Buongiorno's header been pushed up in the air. Parma haven't halted anything in attack, but they are level at the break. Half-time score, Napoli 0, Parma 0. So the start of this second half in 40 goalless between Napoli and the Ducati after 45 minutes. They're preparing to send on a second half substitute in the shape of SempreNapoli. Well, Squirster will steal the San. Might have caused an upset here. Listen. Big play. McTominay tried to motivate his solid teammates. He had the ball at the net early on. His goal was disallowed. It'll be the fourth in the space of a week after Mazzocchi was belatedly adjudged to have dived Verdi. His shoulder was offside. Hoydens to a good save from Fortinati, the Parma goalkeeper. Battle this for Napoli. 2 straight draws in Serie in similar circumstances, but treated differently. So much 2 points dropped. Their draw here against Verona felt like a point gained. Their draw at the Meazza. Snipe. Second half substitution is taking a while. So then he's been told to take a white tape pass, but Alma's going to play out with those white socks he's got underneath. That's why the substitution has been delayed. Maybe the tape was simply loose stitching, I'm not sure. So anyway, I thought the Messi 7, so passing me a match in the second half. And then Spanini gives got nothing left to it. In play a second period here. Much more conventional left-sided play compared with Certain. Napoli now just have futsal. Here against Parma, this rearranged MatchDay 16 fixture. Napoli conscious they can't afford to lose any more ground. The league leaders Inter. Gap was 4 points at the start of play. And that hurts me and hit the 2 teams as well. So it's all about net playing first and winning to put pressure on their rivals. They couldn't do that last Wednesday. Played at the same time slot here at Verona. They were 2-0 down this time last week. Scored twice in the second half. So at least they start from a better position this time around. So they team the pressure for Politano. They can let the ball down by Mazzocchi. No changes to the Napoli team. Incidentally, we saw Luca warming up amongst others during the interval. Honjoto's had a good game after some question marks about his form this season. Dudovic Nabotka now. This is Politano. Boyden makes his way to the middle. Politano's cross. He's asking about Ambon. It's going to be at least a corner. This one more. But Tomine saying this corner stage Saba for the Purden. Politano's ball in. But Tomine played it against Shivkati. I think he caught him on the side as opposed to the arm, but we shall see here. Maybe the right arm. Space. This should be a corner at the very least. But Tomine can debate the decision with Alessandro Ciucati if I made it English speakers. And Tomine bought it even the squad international Ciucati. And it's certainly Australian, just like we had one last night. The 16-year-old Antonio Arena scoring in Roma's 3-2 Cup exit to Torino. Dudovic are now getting a clearer idea as to why the check has been and gone. Well, any their action taken. Ciucati did well to stay tight when dominated. The ball did catch him on the arm. It was Toby deemed in natural position, so down by his side. And therefore not believe in it, as they say in this part of the world. It took being punished quite literally or sanctioned. Politano takes the corner short. Politano, above Gassani comes the cry from Carlos Cuesta, wants his team to squeeze, and they do exactly that. And Latsoki forced all the way back to his goalkeeper. Formidera. But he needs to provide some support to Rasmus Højdens. Frequently surrounded by single thighs, dark blue shirts. It's very hard when the opposition get tearing out their players behind the ball as Parma are doing here, and you wonder where the space is going to pop up. That's why you need to win the ball quickly, or perhaps have someone capable of beating opponents with a dribble. That would be Lai. Politano will get another attempt here. Politano stands it up. Not too much on it, the line. Reach deep. Together ahead of Oliveira. Kept in play for no one. Time and space for Mazzocchi. She's born in too high for McTominay. It's a shame. Lovely shape on the cross. Parenzi's clearance. That's only got there first, and Mazzocchi did well to keep it in play, albeit he nearly then lost possession with controlling closing him down. Straight up in the air by Bagna inside. Vilnas had assisted a season on Sunday in San Siro that's ridden ball. A bit between Bisek and Akanji and released Højden 1v1. Saw hit the outside of the post. Michael Fabry was about to blow there for a foul, either on or by Contron Anthony. He is with his assistant. So perhaps even the fourth official on this near side, Giovanni Arondi. Noah line. Højden waits in the middle. Line. Oliveira, and still Land's got there. Schroeder won the ball. But Tomei impeded. And Delegator. Soilo stayed down. So we'll actually a larger time to beside to Parma this evening, and one of those is just praising his compatriot there. Found time about into another one. Donetsk too. Not quite the illustrious Argentine names we saw in the 90s. Herman Crespo and Juan Sebastian Veron. But Matteo Pellegrino speeds up the new Crespo. We've seen him in the second half, and it's to be seen. I think so. When the Parma are chasing a winning goal, a loop back into the game. Right down the side. Shukati on the stretch. Oliveira decides to keep it in play. Lower line. That's money. Mazzocchi. Mabobka. That's the same ball he played earlier, I saw. Mazzocchi didn't come up on this occasion. Napoli up Rio de Janeiro. Napoli up Leverkusen. Kind of just how broad the Neapolitan diaspora is. Have to pay with silence all over the globe. Beyond Bondelinker and Savage. Højden's after it. He's got there as well. Højden's still there for Højden. It's And delegated it really well. There was no foul on the goalkeeper. And then a hash about Crociati had been on the Flutsum at any time. Tried on it to stop a cross. Parma struck him defensively at times. And Hoyland's having eventually latched onto this. He was onside. Crociati thought he'd done the job. Don't know why Rinaldi didn't just catch this ball there. Planted into his own defender. Hoyland having evaded Crociati, and the goalkeeper said dispossessed by a delegator. Long break there from Rinaldi or Crociati. This was healthy composure from Hoyland. Keita. And Tomine too strong for him. Stop at Tomine. Keeping his balance. And the ball. Hadzoki. Slipping it over the top to Di Lorenzo. Support off the stairs. Napoli making a quiet start to the second half, as they did in the first period. It's the Dawn on its way. They had to wait till added time for both Dons. Back in August of 2024, the last season when they met here. In by Politano. Yeah, that was goal bounds. Contreras celebrates the deflection, making the block. And seemed to have connected well with it. Might have been going off target. Hard to know from that angle. And takes the corner. And Steve's got his head to it. That's Sauch's. Somebody said this is part of the defensively. Lobotka. Cut out by Esteves. Buongiorno saying the last touch came off Crociati instead. And he's a partner throw. That's how well Mandelicator does here to make up the ground. Just here. And pitch it off Hoyland, Serie. Yeah, Sublan to the defensive midfielder. Buongiorno away. Tunnels the headers. Bogdanets. Oh, David Meredith is wearing a yellow beard. Seems to be getting instructions, warming up an offside spin outside of maybe is it again after that ankle injury sustained. Ian Rowe didn't see him against Girona, nor did he travel to Milan to take on Inter. Sadly, to sort this game, they would need him to prize open with his creativity. Zocchi, Di Lorenzo, and Voida now. Scheuler was strong. Zanelli forward. Strengthen the Lobotka. Detroit knows that's not a foul. And the sort of fish I've saw. I echo that sentiment. I mean, I don't think. So there it's ready to go. Spin up Solar on the way to Abelnas. Conte and Sterini not taking any chances. So Napoli dropping more points. Spinazzola made such an impact against Verona. He was brilliant against Inter as well. This is Di Lorenzo. Wasn't a difficult ball for him. Getting that third man robbed. Parma about to make further changes as well. Putroni. Mordones. Shidkati. Brichti. Shidkati continues his progress. This is on Draker. Certainly by the pop curve at Tomine now. So Hoyland stepping away from the pressure. Probably seal a card. A tactical foul from Parma there. Sure, this is a one of the last one. Again, apologising to Hoylands. That's why the caution went the way of the defender. So, Oliveira coming off. So too Mazzocchi being mature. Well, it's like video. Turn line. And what in the. So it means that Feldas and Meredith are going to play behind Hoyd, and Politano will come into this right wing back position, and Spinazzola will play on the far side. And it is the Parma pair we're expected to bear Matteo de 10, Pellegrino, wearing number 9. So controlling on trade can be withdrawn. Some big hitters coming off the both sides now. Pellegrino rested for an hour, so you better go half an hour to try and do the likes of Inter and Milan, meeting Juventus a favour. Plus, above all, create even further distance between themselves and the Trops at 7 points ahead of Fiorentina at the start of play. Another game for Lion Whale come off with regrets of having played their contribution in concrete terms with either an assist or a goal. McTominay made to hurry. Parma's won it back. Pellegrino already seen what he can do from that inside channel to start Sassuolo, where he scored a beautiful goal. Carlos Cuesta very happy with what he's seen so far. Parma's most recent defeat came to Napoli's rivals for the title Inter 2-0 at home. Tardini, Golson, Di Marco and Turan, both former Parma players. Valeni touches on to this. Early cross from him. Buongiorno away. And Politano depletes the clearance. There still is. Ricci making the run. Ciucciati instead finds Mandinacata. One back by Spinazzola. I saw them getting it to Mabebe. He could control. Great to see David Nett's back. Elmas didn't go with Hoyden. Schroeder comes across. This is off Elmas. Staying to Hoyden just to pull in. To play the ball back immediately. Milan Juric has a start to the game this season. Best hitters of the ball on the Italian top side. This was never going to be easy for Napoli, even with Parma picking a second string side. Ricci. Peter. Soinler didn't want it there. Blocked off the back pass. Ristoricini. Rinaldi. Valenti. Dotan Baratmani. Didonenzo. Politano. Amir Aklani now. David Meres. Spinazzola, first shot to dart in the Parma backline. Eulen has unable to latch onto it, but immediately the influence of Spinazzola coming to the fore. Such a key creative force for the champions. Pellegrino beating the air by Nakmani. It was to be so costly. Just ask Mina. It's that task Thiago Motta last season, the Juventus, it cost him his job. Di Lorenzo that it's up. Hoyland's won't catch it. The Maldi's starting position has been good tonight. I think in Napoli need to be more precise with their passing. Parma's next to Genoa at home, as mentioned on Sunday, and there it's at Bergamo the following week. McTominay, David Meres didn't quite get enough on it to find Hoyden. Huge deep. Hoyden tried to win it and has done so. The still is still patterning away. Esteves gets it clear. Buongiorno. Spinazzola. Cisneris. Politano. Releasing David Neres. Politano wanted off at any. Neres with the cross. Almost couldn't collect it. And Dedicator. The Parker wins back possession. Spinazzola. Vertomene. Holding off Brichdi. Lobotka. Rapani. Di Lorenzo. Politano with the cross. Do reach Hoydens. The one-hand ball against Lobotka. Spinazzola now. High speeds at the end. Spinazzola. Esteves pleased it comfortably. Who's so adept at beating opposition players, Leo Spinazzola. Just nudged it down the side and dashed after it. Spinazzola. Rahmani, the David Neres. Taking on Donetsk. Miris. Politano. David Neres has continued his progress, but he finds space. He's done plenty of that. Put the nutmeg, that's going to be a corner. Chitty. David Neres showing that even when he's half fit, still a game changer. Absolutely gorgeous, the nutmeg there on Ovdonets. And the low cross. Stronzo was on his feet, expecting the opening goal. Politano's corner. Todo Insometti. Well, Esteves down in a bit of discomfort. Without to see why. Just been on the receiving end. Does that follow through from Buongiorno? Some Di Lorenzo rather. Left it with awareness of beating the opponent. Just shifting it at the perfect moment. Thumbs up from Hoyland. And the wonderful partnership. The Danish Mountain. Brazilian. Sugarloaf Mountain. Hoyland's up to this. Troiler's not the quickest. Troiler's gone down. And also goes for a free kick on the Parma defender. Again, with the modern protocol and VAR being in the game. Unless Michael Zappi is absolutely sure, and clearly he was. You'd just like to see him that way go there. And then you can ascertain as to whether he's got it likes or whether it was a clear and obvious error. But ball too frequently. The attacking player was penalised now without doing a great deal wrong. Spinazzola. Elmas. Spinazzola was pulled back by Brichdi. Sadly gets that yellow card that has been warned about on a couple of occasions already tonight. That's just Hoyland grappling away. Soiler can't do his job. Seems to have relished that confrontation to see if any good Rasmus Hoyland. But is he now out of puff? Some bit of crab from Amiano Toiler. Sudden as a tired swing of the leg as he sliced him into touch and immediately felt either a hamstring or perhaps of his cramp. And there's the latter. It's not going to last for the course of the matches remains. Nene Oriadi onside Stellini this evening. Troilo heads are clear. It's getting tits for Napoli. It's to 2 straight draws. Not lost it since early December 2024. Are losing this game, but they're not really able to find a breakthrough just yet. Di Lorenzo. Merapani. The vodka between the lines. Almeidis focusing, get further up the pitch where you can hurt Parma, and that gets me deep. Politano. Deluding Vareri. Papani. Buongiorno joining in. Spinazzola, cleverly done. Elmas. Tomine. And Delicato with another important call. This tunnel is a limit as to how many times the referee can stop play for a player with Crabwell. So, root point if you're still Pato with the spell again, the opportunity to play in his proper position. Maradona, having been drafted in between the six at this end of the pound last season, after Suzuki came charging off his line and got sent off. I think it was David Melis actually that the Japanese goalkeeper parted. So toiled to the best part of 70 minutes. Del Prato, that gets eyes. So other nas. Sorry, they might put the armband on Del Prato. Elmas, Spinazzola, a couple of Napoli substitutes. Elmas nearly lost the ball. Tomine for Atmani. Politano. Paleri staying tight to him. David Neres. Mount Athmani. 50 on the score sheet recently. So too did this man. Spinazzola. The first time at Lazio. Poiland. Spinazzola. Tranfeldas. But Sutherland. Straight at the keeper. He's gone closest tonight for Napoli. Stobak Tomaden. Caught it keenly. Needed to place it either side. Well, straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Petty had to move his feet. Pellegrino holding it up. Well, he lost sight of the ball. Set Parma need from him. Big Argentine centre forward. And now that tunnel Valencia up the line for Vareri, who'll keep it played. Valeri's cross, Spinazzola away. The parts of first two for Parma. Esteves. Napoli beginning to tire. Parma will now try and keep position by spreading out all over the pitch. Firstly, Napoli to press them and chase them. Not bad. Oh boy. Del Prato. Bricki. Peter. Chip out to Highlight to. Now Tiny didn't get it, it needs to then put it on up the ball back after this part of a minute of Parma possession. Spinazzola, good ball that. Now Hoyland up against Crociati. Hoyland, it's got the ball. Have been better laying it off there to Poli de Blue. Pellegrino bring it down. The bottom on the board. Ratmani. Melis doesn't look his sharpest, it must be said. Arriving around a little bit gingerly. Because he stopped him from nutmegging an opponent, of course. Lutomine. Crociati. Lobotka. It's very tight through the middle of the pitch. Put it there again for Lorenzo Lucia. Spinazzola. Napoli having to be patient. Lorenzo, David Nenes, Lobotka, runs behind Eldas. Valeri there to cut it out. Went in Rafmani. David Nenes now. Elmas, Buffy. He wants a corner. County made the block. Nearly another goal for Rami Rafmani. Intercepting it and just continuing his progress. But the Elmas was offside. Good work. Alessandro Crociati. Politano's corner. Vino the unchallenged. And starts to Rizu to the Parma keeper, who would love a clean sheet on his SerieA debut of his Parma as well. Only 15 minutes now to Napoli. Then again, they were trailing at this stage of the game on Sunday, and Inter. Tomine came up clutch. Don't spawn Joe of Norton, and I headed it straight up in the air. That's Pretzer. Crociati. But it's a foul by Mandela Cage from Bielorussia. Dudovico. Parma can you witness Dan? In December 2019, the last time I won in Toriglotta with an added sub winner from Shevdimio. They had taken the lead early on through Tilisetsky. Milik scored for Napoli that day. That's how long ago it is now. It's the Parma side under Roberto D'Alessio. That was the Napoli team coached by current Italy coach Rino Gattuso. David Neres, Lobotka. Apparently had to improvise under pressure from Bedma there. Lutomine. This is where they want Spinazzola. Running at Brichki has been put. Spinazzola to the by-dive. Dimaracus puts around it. Parma came with a pan, and so far, still well laid. New sent out tonight in Toriglotta, helping to be the case here on Saturday. From the looks of things, there are still tickets available for the visit of Sassuolo. Luke's game, well, the Kutter Saurito should be the visit of Chelsea. Matchday 8 of the Champions League, by which time Napoli will have gone to Copenhagen as they come back with maximum points. The ship county away. Won by Di Lorenzo, Lobotka, Elmas. This is where one slip in possession could be very costly against the Parma side that are good in transition. Politano. Chris are very happy with Nadu there. Emanuele Valeri, and he closed down Politano. Spinazzola, boiling back him in, trying to roll away from Crociati. A bit hard for Crociati, it's all it wants to try to release Spinazzola quickly. Doesn't seem to be any justification for which Montoltabi doesn't show a yellow card. Crociati began the evening with the armband. Down the side it goes for Hoydens. Crociati got the last touch. You would lunge again. Gianna passed the message to the striker. So the ball was overleaped by Di Lorenzo. Scipio corner. Crociati didn't need to play it there. But done. Oh, well and can't believe that the goal kick has been given us. Clearly a corner. So, Politano coming off. This is not that Vergara is on to him. Politano, that's beginning to tire. Vergara's operating in this right channel now. Nobody now, do. Buongiorno. It's a good. Beflari is Di Lorenzo. That got it's a positive change. Pomsa. Started to save as they'll be slagging, no doubt. Raplani, Mozza in the back post. Di Lorenzo. Raplani. Elmas is in space. Stevis with Lobotka. Spinazzola. Vanelli did well to take it away from Meres. Good ball from Vanelli, but Parma. Shoulder to shoulder went behind Sainz, been penalized. Napoli has had a 0-0 this season. 10 on the 1st of November, match day 10 against Como. Could it be worse? As when Morata had a penalty save time and Ikiewicz-Savic. Goal was draw. It's not been common this season. Taking on his man and releasing Neres, who you can see is not fit. Can't need to chase after with any real conviction. Been in the state to throw him on tonight. Nutmeg aside, he's out anywhere near the sharpest. Napoli looked like they're dropping 6 points in the space of a week in Serie A. The only draw here last Wednesday against Verona, having trailed 2-0. They drew at Innsbruck to Pitchall on Sunday. To stay in touch with the Nerazzurri, having trailed twice in that game tonight. They had the chances in the first half, and not produced a lot in the second. So team looking tired. Still have Sassuolo to come on Saturday. It's always going to be a very busy journey. Questors Parma have come here. So they're very resolute. Into touch of Di Lorenzo. So. Di Lorenzo heads are clear. Esteves. Good pass off. It's to the secretary and the goalkeeper. It was just put time wasting incidentally been undid. Ansafano, Di Lorenzo strained in from until Pellegrino. Scusa, sorry. Who can haul Napoli over the line here? Well, they're going to have to rely on Sovane again. Can someone else step up? Di Lorenzo. Elmas. Spinazzola, good ball for the Vodka. This is Hoydens. The Steaders to the rescue. Elmas. Now Rafani, then Parma, unapologetically with 11 men down in the ball. I mean, pretty defensive this season under Cuesta. Showing why tonight. David Neres. They've got up running at Vareri. Vergara. And there he stopped across. Where is Buongiorno? He's going to have to come through Spinazzola there, you would think. Spinazzola up the line. Pointed now. Pointed turning away. No cross is forthcoming. McTominay. Buongiorno. Delnash's red. Well, he just shot from distance from that, but I haven't considered that as an option. It's a very viable one. Helmast. Buongiorno. Spinazzola. Di Lorenzo waits in the box. McTominay there as well. Spinazzola. Fronted. McTominay's header. They stood his way for Buongiorno on the booker. There is Vergara away from Bareri. Still Vergara. Nutacha. Crociati didn't break to the right player. He's many things outside the box, but no story he is not. Controlled it fine. Struck it with power, but it's too close to be nothing. Vergara. Do Napoli have what it takes? Not only in terms of craft and creativity, but in terms of energy. But McTominay through. Spinazzola manages his way to. It didn't reach him. McTominay. Ricci straight to Spinazzola. Here come the champions again. Spinazzola. Napoli getting closer with 5 to play. Elmas. David Maris able to find a blue shirt. They come again now with Vergara. Di Lorenzo calling for it. Vergara to Mithers. The spin keeps it in play. Mandana Keita wisely wins a free kick. Spinazzola will say he did nothing wrong, but as soon as you make any contact there with your opponent, it's only ever going to be one decision. How close they came there. Nearly staying on side. What a challenge it was from the captain, Enrico Del Prato. That was Bridgey failing to cut it out. If he did the right thing, Spinazzola, you don't want him to loft it there. It's just a good challenge from Del Prato. Conte's disappointment. And Napoli now need to strike the balance between actively pursuing this winning goal. Pursuit is becoming increasingly desperate, but also not leaving themselves exposed. Nestries again would merely be beaten by Verona. Giovanni rather. Tipping the port over the top. Spinazzola. Ricci held him up, but Tominay's got down in the box. Spinazzola away from Bridgey. Is there a shovel bent down? I don't have ball from here, but Tominay's still down instead there. Only now just getting back to his feet. Hopefully it's nothing more than a knock. They can bid a thought to do it out here. Now Parma beginning to tire. Space might open up for Napoli. David Nandes has lost the ball. He's going to be booked, but there was a mistake to include him tonight. He's clearly not fit. Petty better served, keeping him on ice for a Sassuolo game. And shall very quickly arrive. And touch not with hitting at the Brazilian, but he's clearly not healthy. And you wonder now whether the demons, though, fear their ugly hate the Parma. They'll know, many of the players who must squad, even those that weren't at the club last season, how this game finished last season. Lukaku and Ongi stuck deep into added time. Boyd putting himself about to foul by Giudati. The system was close. No one's made a decision. We play on. Incidentally, when Tomine went down after Estevez did a clash with him off the ball. Estevez, the player who was fouled by Zakani for a red card in the Parma lost to Matsu. Also the player that was parted by Basic, who also saw red. He's quite good at getting under positioning players' skin. FullMatch. Napoli have shown on many occasions under content they can win it late. Parma here last season can get in here this. It's an Ezio and Spezia in the past as well, albeit under shots by it to point him on the ball there, and then Crociati just unapologetically stood his ground, and down to his credit, he's entitled to do so. Well, clearly Conte doesn't rank on him, so it'll count. It's getting him 90 seconds plus added time as Mandela Keita runs through him. Hot against Elmas. Back it goes for Partenopei, who can hit them. Partenopei, Pellegrino, Di Lorenzo wants a foul. The whistle comes. The Michael Fabri saying to the Napoli captain, do not stop playing. Expecting me to blow, take a chance. Well, there's two ways of looking at this. On the one hand, you can say, what's Luca supposed to do with so little time to make it inbounds? The other opinion you can take is that, say, someone recruited for as much money as him should be able to make it in. But Neres having come on, now comes off. He tried, to his credit. Benedicia coming on. Donetsk makes way. And we're about to learn how much added time is on the way. Looks like 5 minutes. But if there was ever a time for him to look at a score, now would be it. As he wants to change the narrative surrounding his better Napoli, if he wants to still become a hero in a place where they treat heroes with great respect and adulation. Just ask Metzomene. Krapnani. Helmast. Yuka backing in. He wanted a defeat from Rapani. Di Lorenzo. Delgado can deliver. Delgado's ball in. Whoops, something. The house speciality doesn't come off this time. In fact, he's being penalised. Done it to Napoli, done it to Scotland. Luca is the player who's committed the foul. It's like good miss, but Tomine didn't connect and score. Otherwise, Luca would become even less popular with the fan base. Yes, that's possible. Yobotka. Didn't look like it was going to be this sort of game when Tomine had the ball in the net inside the first 10 minutes when Buongiorno and Hoyden forced excellent saves out of Rinaldi, but whereas they were very strong in the second half against Verona and they did against Inter, they've been quiet this evening. Doesn't mean they won't win the game. Doesn't mean they can't win the game. Spinazzola standing it up. Lucas it up to nobody blue. Elmas. Lapotka. In by Di Lorenzo. Another foul on the part of the player. One of the eyes for catching out Alavanentu. Still 2.5 minutes of added time. It's another very soft decision. But Parma appearing loudest. And Terry got the ear there of Michael Fabri. 2 points dropped against Verona, of only a draw at inserts, looking like 3 consecutive draws for Napoli. There's 2 early to rule them out of the title race, but this would really hurt their title defense. was a 0-0 draw against Parma in the penultimate matchday of last season, which nearly cost them the title. Livgara winning the 50-50 into touch of Berica. Livgara's throw. Di Lorenzo had Lupe in space. He didn't spot it. Do they still believe? Double. Rinaldi needs to be careful. He's already been put. It's the time wasting once. Buongiorno. Estenes. Straight to Alnas. Napoli have a minute of added time. Urgency from the crowd. Is it not Spider Blaze? Ferlani. Dedgana. They go through the box. Perazeva. Spinazzola away to his left. This is Buongiorno. Now it's Spinazzola. The box is loaded with players from both sides. The Bocchia. Meflani. He takes it on. Perhaps not the best option inside. Likovic-Savic comes forward. Has to go into the box now. Di Lorenzo delivers. Elmas. Let's run for Luca. Bernotson. Had time to bring it down. To the dummy thing is could have controlled it, could have laid it off. And that's likely to score from there. This was the from Reflani. Do they have time for another attack? It doesn't look like it for Napoli. Suitable points dropped by the champions. 3 consecutive draws, all in the space of a week. It is a clean sheet on his debut for Filippo Rinaldi, that produced some big saves in the first half. Napoli's gutsy draw Inter on Sunday. Now it looks in vain. And then Azzurri will have the chance to pull third again later on tonight against Lecce. But delight for Parma. They came in with a plan, stuck to it, and got a result. An important point in their efforts to stay in the division. But that regrets in Forti Grozza, where it finishes Napoli 0, Parma 0. Well, side. Else let's quit. Had he gone? But say that's it. Let's go. Your steps up and scores. I'm going on. Thing is, but still, quite a ball and quit. Hey, all right. There's on the bar. Look. Oh, I believe it's on. Yeah. South Mew. The north of the almond isn't. How close to that? Oh, and there to the Stadion and summer it is Ninja lustig lunch. This is the schedule. Then it's Steam, Serie encounters and it is fun because it embassies moments need some of big that yadam in Ryan, the Serie to Bologna. Needing Bologna in the final. That's off the offside. Talk North Napoli. They drop points to Parma earlier this evening, so it's a huge opportunity for them. That's only to stretch their lead over one of their rivals for the Scudetto. Score one legend. Very sense of checked age. They take on the league leaders, but they're forwarding Herod to step up the top zone. White and they set up crowd tonight. It's very chilly. Some supporters, some midweek fixture as well. It's a school night of work night. It's always a very good turnout, whatever. Or, nor on home soil. Yeah, that's it. So I said, stretch their lead of an hour, but also be crowned the winter champions. 12th of the pack and a halfway. Stadiums there, just a point this evening to do that. So what to celebrate the maximum points? Jim Kibu's lads. Everybody for Jeskars and that shit. Chest fun company. Saying we're really struggling. The table does not look good right now for them. There he is, and up to Martinez Theater. If Spawns didn't see him play out of the night or December. So, congratulations to that Martinez. Steely Sports, let him see. Player of the month. Well, accolade this Salvi into skipper. So, spoiler that's out of test. Is rested tonight. He begins on the bench. Speaking of it to the turn off this final of its attention. So just through the it's Cheb. But you see the Smarek's gonna take charge this evening. It's only given them ein Gorbanen. Starting on the bench. You haven't rest tonight, Meldoro. And in some mixtures in particular on the European front. That of course over the course of the night. So that's fair for those games will be 3 points here tonight. No, I'm good. Napoli is gonna still make Parma third year, and Inter the chance to do 6 clear of their rivals. Adding extra motivation is the fact that it's and also playing the crown of SerieA's winter champions. Looking to throw the spot at the works of Holland legend, holding carelessly above the drop zone, but they did draw Juventus Giral to go. And so it is getting some check. Christian Kibo to your right, does ever defend Francesco to your left. This fixture, which was initially scheduled for MatchDay 16, but was postponed after Inter's commitments. They should have probably done the area. Then should be played in this MatchDay 16 Serie encounter. As the each with the hosts, such and handed a rare start in the event. Charlton sits out with a calf problem, so Victorian comes into the sale. Tana Martinez is rested in its body in Anton. The Terran. And then skipping the side with Elbon on Martinez still getting on the edge. Both gone in there, Gerard, like shit captive. Sion, referee, all this encounter. Abdelmanesca to take charge for official Gianluca Manganiello. It is it's on my Johnny. Nearly keep the deal and assistant Yoris Mangton. Zippity Francesco has Meridian wears out. Smith then ends by Ramadan abandoned. The man is unavailable with a shoulder injury, and so the student carries the Norfolks and again then for the struggling and Salentini. Napoli looking to grasp this chance then. Fallen out down of Martinez. Signing his fellow countryman, Darkest Drum area student. She met it last time out. It's Parma, but Parma back to back. Jen the game. In point play is split sent off Ramadani Piguel. One yellow card too many, just like it's not available tonight. Smith shall get us underway. Jets from the referee, thumbs up. Half starts. And now up and running. Share looking to impart this game, but winless run points in the best four for them. To win their last away game, or they dream their last away game, which would have felt like a win, drawing in the backyards of Albany Juventus. On since mid-December, this Anantini. Growing up on the far side is Pianotti. Christian Peter, those players in the day off, the FCL, the engagements of the game. Heard of in Italian football. These players just switch off after a thrilling 2-2 draw. Keeps Napoli here last time now. It's a bit pole position, top of the table, 43 points. 23 playing off Napoli. He said true. To Parma earlier, so it's very steady now over Napoli. So it's 3, clear up Nino. Action Tahara. The lads rescheduled match day, 60 encounter. Yes, a Carlo. But this was any disappointment. Crown winter champs to be top of the pack. Halfway stage of the Serie East. Technically, it's even Loomis. Need that way and keep us into superior goal difference to 5-10. Yeah, it's 50, but I want to jet the right way. Yeah, that's sort of. Zielinski stood us out there. Mistake. Out of Hadish's national. And there goes penalty. Great run by Canotti. Support there. Well, that's well. So that's good. Should have gave away the ball. Check it, but they take. Well, the FPF Zelensky is going to be revitalized, rejuvenated. The Christian Kibble. And the wonder doll as well this season. Then to guard against Verona. Said Falcon. But this suggesting there should have been a yellow card there. That's for the Falcon to shore line. And just saying to his team needs to put behind them as soon as possible. The lost to Parma last time out when they were initially in the driving seat. They in Pigman. Situ one. This little so costed them. The Saltiel to take. It's also standing Oberins. Saltail, supposed to Chado Gabriel, to the own goal. This time out. 1 for 2. 2 French players combining. Oh, gee, say, close to have a Serie now, Marinta. Longs. Sounding has scored. Even for Italian. With there against Venezia. To take on Torino. Quarterfinal, so Torino start row, but that's thrilling cup time. And yeah, then the 16-year-old the score is 4 around them, but it wasn't enough. And that's going through. Bunny, not in FootballAction. Netherlands, his native Marning, the quarterfinals to Senegal. In Bastoni, looking for Terry, knocked out. Credits. This around Hunter, maybe in my Bastoni. Stulich. Storm 6. This area, live that led you. 13 games, let you both halves minus a single goal. 2 and they check on this. And on foam soil, can he now was first on the Italian football on the road. Bonnie leaves it for Turao. Daniel. One. It's a permanent. So reception ran forward the didn't switch it. A 6. Last 5 with clean sheets. Cheap. It's 2 goals per game. His body. Starts when it is 20 to turn. See target for left. But there's the for turret. Well, just the one way. That's in 26 years ago. Uvric, the Southern Dinik. Then which are blown this the penalty Florentine. Turret. Italian. Still with Pony. Yeah. Made it. Definitely got. Honey coming in for that time of Martinez tonight. Starts as he meets to go on. It's a good question. That's over there, Chow piped on it. Followed by a touch and put it up behind. So it ends out of the corner. Should be very easy for this season from corners. To extend that. Stay broad. This could be every part of the corner. Punching from that shoulder. Shen a little worried. Flying into worries. Not missed a single minute. And when did hurt himself as he made the save of Bonish. Maybe a chance for Bishop Fulton. 25-year-old Jow, but well in there, foul on it. Try and bridge his teeth. I had the ball in. And he do. And she, yeah, the match. Smashed it on him because they didn't all fight to come in against that Chimney. Me a bit of money. 2020 season. I'm quite under lots of pressure. I'm sure they're deciding in them. Stoney down the line. Started his first start since the beginning of December. So a starting lineup against Carver. Win that night for the net. But Atlanta to shut its way through. Worst attack kids center, just 13 netted and they take on the best attack in South, similar to 2 Skables. So Mr. Chip goes to his tally here. The Scarlet Empire shot. Southeastern 19 at call to rest tonight. On smallest for inside into Napoli last time out. So on target. Now they spot what it's father in favour of the visitors. Watch that 4 inside. The Ted Gates head comes in. Up here to Amelio Batan. Now Stulich. Shot away to block my attention. Be all good one. It's good to nip not. What's up, we'll stay away. Shot by Terram. Sweet maybe that it's into rankings this season. Happy to that Sunshine Road. It looks immense. It's state break. the derby. Starting it now. The Maradona. Napoli momentum a point last time out. It's triggered that break up and then makes up of the back. Christian Kippers, man. So Till flicked on some accounts, stood away. On Bacon. Italy, stop it. One is subbed on Bastoni. He struggled a bit. What inside Zati hint to play the same players running rotated the squads. And so it's a bit more opportunity this season to get whole playing time. Perhaps those opportunities to go so what in the Champions League as well. Should just lifts it up. And she straight to Baleni. The strength of the full strength is let your debut tonight. Get recently a cameo appearance and defeats against Parma, and that's time out in Serie A. Low wins the challenge. Together. Love it. Yeah. Some TL. Well, I think we'll about Edla. Love with the big shinist. Shazay thought Nila next time out. Yeah, the make some. Siva and one the suspended Gasman. So Doug lashing out. Can kick him up. Then it Parma, that's die now. This hotel with June Sutton. Hotel. Man. This hotel. It's it twice. Spare Gates. And so the lots of guarantee a number of applications on the losing sides at this hotel. Who didn't play surprise in the book this game. Said either would it die off and sit. Matter what decision or no. Do it there. Oh, result tonight. It's favorable fixtures on paper. What legend. Gonna isn't his own on the horizon. Champions League also Borussia Dortmund. Recent slip up, so don't gloves. Madrid and Liverpool. But done by. Then you have labeled with a soft penalty given here. It's Liverpool. Ton of the jersey. Here's Mastoni. House of Worcester. See that? Up then. Yes, for suspense. Banter. SempreNapoli challenge on Parma's get to death. But the nail. Zielinski. Bastoni. Supposed to made Bastoni here. Zielinski's got a pocket of space in. On it. Where's Zielinski? You see, he's playing this season. Not played here, Vanny to go and Piotr Zelenski. When it there against Bologna. Starter, the Bentagard. Snake blood moves. It needs to touch the Madrid on the European front. It's getting back to those levels we witness and what it is. In for the Napoli chance and up to the left in a spreadsheet. They spawns Pepsi, where about 4 December. Has 2. 5 games in a row. Total. It's nicknamed the ball. Starting with Summers. Goes up a bit in the season, and they expect him to end his time with it. And what's it like? On the hunt for a new keeper from next term. This mission pushing quite enough to convince. There's an intimate use them. And to step up, be the number 1. Point to excellent Woodsman mentally to the club. The return of to SerieA should he moves and then that's it catches ball. That comes the goal, keep misleading and they get it wrong. So dinged up. Tom business up down of it. Was a third of that. So I'm sat team the 16th. Or a dog, 70s. Mr. Rat now. One of them see birds. Touch to them. They laid can't birds. Oh, Mizar. Mr. Getting yellow, the only thing. Simulation then for Marcus Thuram. Machine, like then the referee was correct on off his replay. You know, keep coming back and checking back. Did have to make contact. Was it Thuram throwing himself ready to round? Well, that evidence. Should maybe the just his heels. Encouraged to book players more simulation. Maston, Bonnie, play for Siemens. She's a full appearance, but Bob's striding over the summer. Choice at the moment. Santiago Gabriel. Mastoni's ball. Straight to Mkhitaryan. So that's through the middle there. Now tease for mention. Well, the that's serious play and why the very booked Thuram. And Channels for at least a couple of weeks. Up issue. If he's still recovering from ankle surgery, and see some returns and to Milan, I didn't know. Holland recovering. Sotil. Still with Sotil. One shot, that's right. Bring on us, let you. Why can't she see some of it? Shoots the city map. Still to swing it in. So tail. Stamp play by Mkhitaryan. Some people. Doors when he sees. Someone inside. Not even played with Vincent. Humiliating in the Champions League final loss. There's PSG. Never one has credits to him with giving the club a lead again. Very didn't tie. Yes, yeah, T20. holding titles. To wait. And it shows Emily. It's time and it's on. Zero titoli, but it's what she keeps in that. She moves his hand. It's right. This Collins, Friday's sister, it's time. And a teddy purple. Leaves Daddy up. Sit down. 2. Says Mickey Italian. Oh, Barella. Zelensky with Barella. For chase. Spun out. Is there about often into Champ. At a big watch side of Santa Martinez received his accolades. Will player at the above. In SempreNapoli, expected to later play this month. One splits Malacic. Vincent use the summer. It had already used the next season, and that's certainly step. And Sotil. Now 2. He's got pace to burn. And then to June. It's much bigger too. Outside will start when they're back. Big Italian. Ella. Here's Bastoni. And I was looking for one and he. Still no one. So really just added a hand. So that's gone in the Partenopei. Spedizia. Sneak goal back at that moment. The injury issues. Since problems. Barella. You know, I had to, that. And Toffee bad chance for since. Magic that need to be solid comebacks. Or just to sink too deep and invite into forwards. They also try to get the risks. They are. Pick up a shock result, man. As they did in Turin, I still waited 1-1, but I just helping the scoring. It did that was embarrassing putting cup penalty saved by Falcone and before Kenny rescued a late points forced by these men. They didn't know what Chaz goals. Italia. That was a ball stop. Straight to Zelensky. Oh, 1-ish. Christopher. Prayerfully points to this ball. 1-8. It's won a penalty for him. Up midway through the first half. This to Winkland. Lecce defense. It will be checked, of course. Lecce players are protesting. Both corner. His teammates just to get away. Is it the Neil Vance jump? That late challenge. It's really pops up between Daniel Bagger and Bonnie. Was Bonnie accentuate before and the contact. That's Needles way away. Few bounces it from Marcus George. And free, showing the Frenchman a yellow card. Or a delete instead. Now Portney. And some 2 have a chance for 12 yards. quite displayed in Parma. Said you done this season. Mid straight away, it's the other team conquering Juventus. It's waiting alongside the fourth official. Out with that clear ball, self-Musta. Forward, here you go. Sprays. Here's in it, yeah. These contacts. Chipani almost self-going in, will shoot NapoliVsParma again. Accentuates on that contact at the full. On the old Herviers. It's now has and have another look at this one. There'll be a light find a reprieve for Lecce. I the seat in the mood, but half the ball, I think, but the reference to look at. Very good action, makes contact first with the ball. Takes it away from Bonnie. But almost just as Rupert, his momentum and sidestep. And leg off, NapoliVsParma, and then now into grab. Set frame Nana, shot that. Knows that again. He's a little bit. One even for the ball. Who wins the ball? This time. No, to the ball first. Touch on that ball and take it away. Forward. Finds out it's mid Botany. Pressing it up. More eyes. And he is then. Talk about Iska. A seguito di edizione, calciatore numero 17 del Lecce, ovviamente quanto visto dopo per pallone. E dopo l'effetto infatti, decisione finale l'epoca del calcio di noi. Then final by NapoliVsParma again, he touched the beam first. The old review, Minty made initial error. The penalty one extensions, second penalty. A bit of the night. Injury of heads. You said they got a fracture. They put on Lecce. Then some funny corner. Giallorossi. But no, the Italian. No release, Marcus Turria. Champion gets first goal with the part. They can send you final at Barcelona last season in the Champions League. It's nice to go on me almost what the hell into seal the school debt doing it. It's making it. On April 2024, someone inside when they stormed their way to the title of 20th. The second stand of the second start. Start stitch onto the jersey for every 10 minute touches one in its swing. So now into one more. Smooth top one more star for now. This is first made out on 90. They are just 3 points behind in the table. D. See, it's about that. FootballAction to his first goal for that last time out. He's striking the frame of the door. He's got it on the real pressure. Kind of does recover, still keeps the implied in Koulibaly. Twice this season. Deep. No way, Martinez, booster. It's Jensen, it's very inside to regroup. Of the ball. Trying a bit of possession. Should arrive here tonight. 3 clear off the drop zone. No, you're in. Many even say surprisingly, third from bottom and in the relegation places. Chip. Keep on the center's ridge, just go beyond the half-hour mark. It's on 4%. Another positive result. Zielinski, looking through his body. Well, they read it well. The more sense of being proud the winter champ Guinness. It's one of